All right, here's the thing. I was thinking of finally doing the Festival of Battles, and I saw a lot of people online that were very experienced, and some even had the privilege of unemployment that beat this eventually, and it took forever. You had to be super careful, you had to play it perfectly, you had to bring the perfect units, have the perfect turns. And I started doing some research. I started thinking of the perfect team, the perfect setup, the perfect place and time. I'm going to spend 3 hours of my life playing the game. And then I started to realize and think, like, if I'm doing this much effort, like, I could literally just do something more productive. So instead of doing that, what I decided is that I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to do a job interview. So instead of doing the Festival of Battles or whatever, I interviewed with Meta. I had a screener, talked to the recruiter. We got a technical later today. It's the phone screen. These usually go 50-50. It's either the interviewer is pretty nice and they just want to see if you can code, or they literally want you to solve the problem the way they have it in their mind. Either way, I'm not stressing it too much. I low-key don't even want to do this, but it's either this or Festival of Battles, and I'll take the job interview. So instead of doing Festival of Battles, we're going to do the job interview. But with that being said, I do want to take some time away. I do want to play Dokkan. I want to let my brain reset a little bit because I've been grinding leak code. I've been coding. I've been basically turning my brain into AI gobbledygook. And I want to do the DB Saga mission for this red zone. So, this is good. This will take less than, hopefully, 10 hours. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. I don't know if that is or is not going to be the case. Let's go ahead and... I never did this event before. I don't know how hard it's going to be, considering that this is DB Saga mission, and I don't even use the DB Saga team that much. But here's the team. Easy Aid, LR, King Piccolo, hoping he's a monster. Other than that, I mean, it kind of explains itself. I honestly don't know who's better, the AGL Kid Goku or that Goku. I'm going to go with the AGL Kid Goku because he's new. I never used him before. And I would really like that. And please tell me I have a DB Saga mission, memory, rapid growth, counter attack. I thought I had a DB Saga. I could have sworn we had a DB Saga memory, but I guess not. Whatever, we'll do it with no memory. But yeah, we got an interview planned. Wish me luck. Hopefully, we do well enough. Now, the ironic thing about all this is that I've been thinking lately, maybe it is time to leave my job, because lately I've literally turned into a donkey that has been doing a lot of work, a lot of leadership, and a lot of clown makeup, because what happens is that when you are the go-to guy, you end up being a little bit dependent, or people end up being a little bit dependent on you. Which is not the end of the world, but it's been pretty frustrating because I am the official owner of a lot of things for my team and the work that I do. Oh, who do I trust? Roshi? I gotta trust Roshi. Keep it a beam, bro. I gotta trust Roshi. I own a lot of things for my team. I lead the team. I do a lot of work for the team. And as good as that is, and as good as that experience is, I think it's very frustrating because I'm basically the go-to guy for so many things. So if someone from the business has a question, they come find me. If my manager has a question, they come find me. If someone has an issue with production, they come find me. If someone has an issue with infrastructure, they come find me. And it's at the point in time where sometimes I'll go to work and I have all these people messaging me. And I just be like, it's over, bro. I just got to put on the do not disturb and hope nobody bothers me for the next 12 hours. And what's crazy is that I took off work today. Today's a Monday, and I took off work to do this interview. And I can already smell the people who are going to be crying, because I already put my out of office message. I was like, listen, bro, I'm out of office. It is what it is. I ain't there. I'm gone. And they're going to be like, oh my God, what do I do? This guy is gone. How do I survive? How do I reconcile this? I don't know, but you're going to have to figure it out, because I ain't there. I ain't finna be there. And it is what it is. But it is rewarding. I can't lie. I think that this job, I think one reason why, unironically, I really do like this job is because it's at a company that is a little bit more friendly. It's unironically one of the worst organizations working. It's in cloud. It's pretty much like the AWS of Microsoft. It's Azure as opposed to AWS, which is very good experience-wise, but like there's so much work to do. But it's not necessarily the end of the world because you can basically kind of, you know, I'm leading the team, I'm guiding the team, I'm creating the estimates, and I'm kind of being honest and saying, listen, like, you know, in order to do X, Y, Z, we need to have A, B, C, and we only got A. So this finna show up, you know, this is gonna be delivered. Like right now, I have a lot of stuff that's delivering the end of April because it ain't happening in March, and it ain't happening the first week of March, the second week, or the third. It's the end of April. So it's like, I mean, if these people don't like the estimates, it's like, hey, listen, like I legit told my manager, I'm like, listen, this is the constraints we have, this is the work we have, and right now I'm leading my direct team, my absolute direct team is this is such a clean transformation. I actually made this my wallpaper at one point. Not this, that right there. That's clean, bro, clean. But basically, what ends up happening is that I am leading my immediate team, which is 2 people, and then I also do help the larger team, and I help my manager with stuff. And I'm also like the security champion, which basically means that I'm the guy that whenever there's a security issue, I got to figure out how to solve it. It's just a little, it's frustrating because it's like you have to do so much planning and you have to do so much communication. That's the thing that drains me the most. Is like I'll literally spend a good 4 hours just communicating, like get these estimates, figure out who can and cannot work on things, figure out how many people we're going to need to do XYZ. After we figure out how many people we need to do XYZ, you know, then what exactly do we need to do to actually get XYZ? And then what do you got to do? You got to go communicate. You got to go beg. You got to go beg your manager. You got to go beg your manager. Go, please respect my estimate. Respect it, please. And what's crazy is that we actually had a meeting with our director recently where he basically was talking about like, oh, you know, we have a lot of plans for this year. We got to do X, Y, Z. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. But here's the thing. Here's the problem. We ain't got no money. We broke right now. We broke. And he legit said verbatim, he's like, yeah, right now our company, it ain't looking too good because Wall Street, they ain't messing with our company. It ain't looking too good because, you know, the shareholders, they not happy. So we definitely not going to be hiring nobody this year. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, like, we had like 6 people, 8 if you want to count like new teams that popped up. But we had 6 people who quit or moved teams last year. So far, we've had only one replacement, and this replacement is a junior. He's not a senior, he's a junior. And the 6 people were either mid-level or seniors, so like we still didn't fill that gap. So like it's absolutely like atrocious, honestly, that we have a situation where some way, somehow, we are expected to do even more work, get even more done. We're basically being told like, naughty, you didn't do enough last year, now the shareholders are mad. And then at the same time, it's like, we don't even get any more resources. It's like, bro, like, this is insane. Like, I literally am thinking to myself, like, oh, this year we're going to hire at least 4 people at least. And my manager's like, yeah, you know, the most we can get is like 2. The most we can get is 2. And those 2 are coming from other departments within the company who are either having layoffs or about to have layoffs. So that's pretty crazy. That's actually pretty insane. It's pretty, again, frustrating. Frustrating is a good word because it's like, how do you explain to someone? It's like, yeah, right now it ain't looking too good because of the fact of the matter being that we didn't do enough. And because we didn't do enough, we don't deserve new hires. And we ain't finna get new hires. It's like, dude, like we need new hires badly. Like, we've literally been like leading people who are either leaving the team or leaving the company, and there's like not even talks about a replacement. They're just like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. It's one of those things where you just got to do more with less, and it's like, oh my god, dude, it's the worst. And again, for me, the big thing that's actually crazy is like, because I have so much responsibilities and different things, like it kind of forces you to be very good with your time management. Like I said, I'll spend like 4 hours like just literally organizing the work, planning the work, communicating the work. And then like it's kind of weird because like you have to be aggressive with like the work that you do, because now when I'm doing my work and if I run into a bug or if I run into a unit test debug or something that takes more time to figure out, Holy crap, you're trash. Oh my god, half a milli? Half a milli, mister? Wow, I did not, I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect it. I thought bro would put up numbers. He did not put up a single, wow. Brother, you did not put up a fight. Oh my god, by the way, wait a second, hold up, wait a minute. What is the mission? The mission is, how many DB Saga people? Because I'll just replace them with a tank, at least 4 DB Saga. Alright, who's a tank that I can put here? Vegito? I kind of don't want to do that. Damn, who should I put here who's a tank? Who's a tank? Who's a tank? Who's like, does no damage, but ain't finna die. Does no damage, but ain't finna die. Earthbred Fighters. DB Saga Earthbred Fighters. Ah, shucks. Exploding Rage. Youth. Let's do Exploding Rage. Exploding Rage, and then let's do Earthbred Fighters. Maybe we can get away with Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. What do we think? Should we go Beast Gohan? Probably should go Beast Gohan. Beast Gohan is a pretty good tank, huh? Yeah, let's do it. Well, let's just put Beast Gohan here. I'm really surprised that Master Roshi sold that hard, dude. I don't know. I'm used to Roshi being decent. I mean, Jackie Chan, sorry. I'm used to Jackie Chan being decent. I'm really surprised that he sold that much. But yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if I run into a debug issue or if I run into an error, all I'm thinking is like, oh my god, I have a meeting in an hour. I need to like finish this, because if I don't finish this, I've got to do another thing. Like that's the thing. Like, I'll give you a great example of something that like ruined my week recently, which was for like something simple. There was like a config change, right? And usually whenever you make a code change that's behind a config change, you don't just like, you know, drop it. You don't just be like, okay, we're gonna enable. Oh, I'm special needs a little bit. We're not. I did not see that many bombs, bro. I thought there was less bombs. But yeah, like I was saying, there was like a config change, and all I was doing was just enabling this config. And like I did this like this week, and then I did it in the past, and then I noticed that the config didn't enable, and I'm like, oh my god, like why didn't this enable? What do I need to do? I start looking into this, and like it's a whole headache. And another thing is like we have like a deployment pipeline, and we go from our test environment or stage environment and then eventually to production. And like for some reason our stage environment, like it just had an error. Like the server just has an error, and lo and behold, who's gonna look into it? No one. Nobody has capacity at the moment. And the other thing is that at the moment I'm also tasked with trying to basically create some automated relief for live site for like on-call activities, because at the moment it has been getting a little out of hand, where we have situations where we are basically spending a lot of time, like a lot of time trying to solve issues manually. So a customer will report an issue, we'll have to investigate it, and after investigating it, we'll have to do manual remediation. So as part of that, I do have like a design project in place, which is annoying but also very good, because for me, you know, it's good for like promotion's sake, but also from a career perspective, I need more design experience. That's something that I've done, but I've never gone deeper than like REST API design. So I feel like this will be good, because it's a kind of state management issue where it's something that is required, and not only is it something that's required, but it's one of those things where it's applicable in multiple scenarios. And what I mean by that is like we have like for example, let's just say customers have an issue deleting something, and then we go do a manual remediation. All right, customers have an issue updating something, then we go do a manual remediation. What is there a way for the system to detect that automatically? And if you detect that automatically, how are you going to do that? Are you going to do it through polling? Are you going to poll some data store? Are you going to do it through event-driven listening? Are you going to do it through just heuristics? My solution at the moment, what I'm trying to push for, is basically have any publisher also publish to a remediation pipeline or a remediation stream. And the idea being that, you know, if something goes wrong, you monitor it, and the way you monitor that data and get that data is that it's reported to you, it's given to you. Because right now the big thing is like you can't just like you first of all, even if security allowed it to have these different data store accesses, you're not, but even if you did, think about it realistically. Like, let's just say you have all these different publishers and they're publishing, and there's a problem somewhere, someplace, somehow, and unless you have a way to determine that error, there's really no way to know. And the thing is, it's actually easier, at least for the case of delete, for example, it's actually easier to figure out if there's an issue for delete, because all you need to basically do is have the publisher issue a delete, and if you go check, if that thing is not deleted, then you have a problem and you need to remediate it. So that's kind of like an easier one. Other ones would be like, for something that needs to update, you would get that information, and after you get that information, it might involve some polling and some checking, but at least you have that item to check. It's interesting. It's interesting work. I mean, I gotta be honest. I think for my job, it's definitely something that's become more time-consuming. It's something I think about. It's something that's kind of like on the forefront. And I'll be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. It would be pretty damn good if I were to quit my job right now, because I have a lot of responsibilities, and it would just make my life easier. Like, I would just not think about things as much. I wouldn't have as much on my plate. But at the same time, you know, you kind of like, you know, no pain, no gain type of thing. But again, you know, you gotta understand that, again, the reason why I have this mindset, and the reason why I'm a little bit more like not eager to quit my job, is because of the fact that I am learning. It is something that is beneficial, and the company in general is pretty good. Like, one thing when I worked at Amazon is I was always afraid that I was going to end up getting fired. So that was like a big thing for me. Like, unironically, like, I'd be like, oh damn, like, what if I get fired? Like, I'm cooked. Like, I'm basically done up. And I would think about that, and I'd be like, okay, you know, if I get fired, you know, like, I feel like there's no point to stay at this company. Like, I feel like I'm not safe at this company. I feel like at any point in time I can get fired, which is somewhat true at Amazon, somewhat true. They do have a pretty aggressive PIP policy and a pretty aggressive, like, they call it URA. I think it's called, like, like, we don't care that we fire you. It's one of those things where, like, X% of people get laid off or put on a performance improvement plan and fired. So, like, that was always one thing that was in the back of my head at Amazon, whereas at Microsoft, that's not as prevalent. Obviously, it can happen. You can have bad reviews. You can have miscommunications with your manager. You can have different things that happen that are bad. But I just feel like it's not as likely. And I also feel like the company in general has been making the right decisions for investments when it comes to security, when it comes to improvements. And they kind of do realize that. And one thing that I do like is that, you know, there's things that are set in stone that no matter what, they exist, and they are improvements in comparison to what had happened in the past at my last company. So, for example, at my last company, we had on-call every, like, I want to say maybe every, I don't know, month. I mean, it depends. Like, eventually we had people quit like crazy, and then I was on call like every other week. But the idea is that we had on-call 7 days, 24 hours. And some days you would have issues that would keep you up late, and it would be annoying, and you'd be up like 1 a.m. doing stuff. Whereas at this company, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., because I'm on the East Coast, is going to be the time that I'm basically, you know, working on-call. I'm basically doing the work. There's a handover, there's someone who's on a different time zone who will help you out, and that's like a big thing because some companies don't have that. And at the same time, like, the leadership of the company, they're actually taking some time to basically say, hey, you know, we realize that right now on-call is pretty heavy. What are some improvements that can happen? What can we do? How can we help? And here are the areas for investment to do that, because once we do that, that'll create a better relationship with customers. That'll create a better relationship when it comes to employees working on these issues. And in general, it's improvements. And because the leadership is saying that and acknowledging that, it's a little less ridiculous, because when I was at Amazon, one thing that they did is that they would say, like, oh, you know what we take really seriously? We take really seriously on-call. You know, we want our engineers to feel like they are empowered to do X, Y, Z, and that they're going to be able to learn the appropriate skills to do X, Y, Z, and we're going to make improvements and da-da-da, dee-dee-dee. But the way it worked is, like, you'd be on call 7 days a week for 24 hours, and then you'd also have feature work. That's one thing at this company they're pretty strict about, is that they're like, listen, if you're on call, you're on call, it's basically like you're off from work. You're not doing any feature work. And that's important because you get to a certain point at Amazon where, you know, you work for 6 hours doing on-call stuff, and then there's like about another 4 hours worth of work that you're doing. Obviously, you're on call, so there's some understanding. But when I was at Amazon, dude, like, there was just like no breaks, dude. Like, no breaks. Like, it was ridiculous to the point where, like, you literally be thinking to yourself, like, how is this gonna happen? Because I remember at one point in time, my manager was like, we need to deliver some like feature or some product by April 20th. Like, it just says some date, April 20th. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, let me, you know, do an estimate. So I do an estimate, and I'm like, oh, actually, this is before April 20th. So this is how it goes. My manager is like, yo, we need an estimate to figure out what how much we can do in this amount of time. So I did the estimate. I go with the amount of people I have, which at that time was 2 employees or 2 co-workers who I was leading. And they were both new hires. One was there for like 4 months. One was there for like literally a month. And I did the estimate. I'm like, listen, by the time these guys learn these things, by the time these guys do these things, I mean, this is probably going to take from now, it was like, I think like late December or early January. I was like, it's going to take, you know, January to do this, February to do that, March to do this. And I was like, maybe first week of April we'll have like some like MVP basically. It was like a ground up service. And this guy's like, all right, what can we do? Like, what's the minimum? Like, what's the minimum we can do here to deliver something? And I'm like, this is it. Like, there's not really anything else to like take away or change. And he was like, all right, but what if we remove this? And then he removed like a part that was kind of required for like better on-call basically. Like it's one of those things where it would add automation as opposed to manual work. And he's like, yeah, but like for now, like let's just do this, and then we'll come back to this later, and then we'll do that, and and I'm like, dude, like you're killing me, man. Like I really don't understand how or why you're so gung-ho about like skipping out on stuff, like basically going through and figuring out a way to like finesse the system, because like I'm telling you, like this, you're not getting around this. Like this is what we need in order to complete this. And then this guy's just like, yeah, but you know, what if, and there were just so many what ifs that ends up like trying to rewrite reality. And ironically enough, what's funny is that when I was leaving that company maybe like, I don't know, March of that time, around like late February, early March. And I remember, dude, my manager literally, like, all the planning we did, all the estimates we did, all that stuff, he just throws it all away. And he's like, listen, this thing that we're working on, it was like a multi-project thing for the team, like me and 2 other people working on something, and then other people working on something else. He's like, listen, this is going to take too long. What we need to do is we need to act fast, we need to be quick, we need to do this, we need to do that. And what ends up happening is that he literally throws everything out, like unironically throws everything out. And after he throws everything out, he's like, oh damn, we might have to pop an item here actually, because this guy ain't got a girl with him. When ain't no baddies, he's pretty cheeks. Kind of wish I didn't pop that skill now, but whatever. Is there a baddie coming? Yeah, there is a baddie coming. Should I keep him around for the baddie? All right, I'm gonna take a ridiculous risk that I really shouldn't take, which is I'm going to risk not using an item, which is really unnecessary, and I really could do that, and this guy might do 1 million damage, but I would just feel good not using an item right now. But yeah, like when I was leaving, literally like a month before I was leaving, my manager just like gets us all in the meeting room. He's like, guys, listen, what we're working on is not going to deliver value to customers fast enough, or no. Here's the verbiage. Not going to deliver a product to leadership. They don't care about the customers. They don't care about the product line. They just care about what leadership is looking at and some type of a deliverable. And he's like, listen, what we're going to do is, and this is the funny thing, he's like, what we're going to do is we're going to work on a live site improvement, basically an improvement of the old system. And this improvement of the old system will improve it, make it better. And what's going to lead to is that we're going to have better customer interactions, better product interactions, and that'll be the deliverable, basically. which is fine. But the thing about that is that he never really like explained that. He just said like, oh, we're gonna, you know, do this, do that. And by the way, we're not going to do what we originally agreed upon, which is crazy, by the way. Should I pop active right now? Might as well. I mean, I think it's like close to the end. I don't remember. Damn, I didn't know his active got mega key like that. What a chad. Let's do that. So he basically got us in the room, and he's just like, yeah, actually, we cannot deliver this thing. What we need to do actually is we need to pivot, and we need to deliver by April 20th. He just says that. There is no estimate. There is no, okay, what do we need to do? What are we going to do? Blah, 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 blee, blee, blee. It's just April 20th. That's it. It was just the statement, April 20th. And guess what my last day working there was? My last day working there was like April 10th or something like that. So I literally left the sinking ship. The ship was hit with torpedoes. It was going down. I grabbed the life raft, jumped on it, and I left. And what's funny about it is that I originally was not going to leave. Like, I didn't think I was going to leave. I was just like, whatever, I'll interview with some companies, because at that time the market was hot. Like, this was early 2022. The market was hot, dude. I was literally interviewing with so many companies that when I got a job offer with Microsoft, I rejected it. I rejected it because I was in interview for Google. I was in interview for Apple. I was in interview for all these companies. I was like confident I'm going to do well. And I'm like, listen, I want to see all my options. I don't want to just accept this job when I potentially could get a better one, or at least I was curious. I wanted to see what would happen. What I ended up doing is that I ended up just saying, like, one of my friends roasted me. He's like, what are you, an idiot? Just take the job. Like, if anything, quit and then work somewhere else, which you can do. It's not professional, but, you know, these people will lay off in a heartbeat, so don't worry about professionalism. So, when it comes to... Alright, let's do this. Should I pop the active? I'm kind of tempted to not pop it. Yeah, let's just pop it. Might as well. I feel like we're gonna get to the point in time where, like, literally nothing's gonna happen. So like the fight is basically over. So we might as well just pop it. What was I going to say? What I was going to say was, oh yeah, I was interviewing with a lot of companies, and my friend was just like, dude, just do it. Like, who cares? Just interview. If you get the job, take it. And then if you want to not work there, don't. If you want to do something else, do that. And I was like, all right, I took it. So I took it and actually did a long start date. I did like a start date of like June of 2022. And thank God I took it. One is because I was able to quit Amazon. I took like 2 months off during the summer. I continued to interview. And ironically enough, the Apple interview fell through. The Meta interview fell through. Some other companies I got offers for, but they weren't as good, or I was about to get an offer for, but they weren't as good. The one mega blue ball was that I was interviewing with Google. I did get to the point where I was basically going to get an offer. And at this point in time, this was like June of like literally up to the wire of starting at Microsoft. And then there was a hiring freeze, and they're like, okay, listen, we're doing a hiring freeze. I don't know if we can get you. It looks like we're going to have to wait. And then it was announced that they were doing layoffs, and I basically literally jumped ship at the perfect time, as well as the worst time, because companies were doing layoffs. Even Microsoft did layoffs in like 6 months after that. The market completely changed the beginning of 2023. Had I had stayed at Amazon, more than likely I would have either been laid off, fired, or laid off and fired, and I would have had to find a new job in a worse market with worse prospect, with worse compensation, and it would be very stressful. So, like I said, I have an interview later today. I'm not too stressed about it. I did do some review problems. I'm probably going to do 2 or 3 more review problems and just go to bed because it is early in the morning. But at the end of the day, we were able to do all the missions. And, you know, this is a life lesson, right? You can potentially play Dokkan, become the god of Dokkan, do festival battles, no items, easiest or hardest team ever. Or you could go get a job interview. And at this rate, I might end up getting the job before I even do the event. So let's see how many major life accomplishments I can get through before playing this godforsaken event. And I think this is the best way forward. This is definitely the way the game is supposed to be played.